Today I want to take you on a journey along with me and a couple of the most interesting people I've met this year, or ever, right here in Victoria. Namely, a record-breaking open water swimmer with multiple sclerosis named Susan Simmons, and an unsighted, legendary punk rock rocker, simply called Blind Marc. These two people have never met, not before filming this episode with me, but what they have in common, and why I wanted to bring them together for this one, is that they are both living truly amazing lives, despite and even because of living with so-called disabilities. We're also going to meet a team of swimmers with developmental disabilities called the Spirit Orcas. But for now, let's start with meeting Susan.
So we are somewhere very beautiful, very awe-inspiring, I would even say. And we are actually at the site of a very awe-inspiring thing that happened. And we have the person who did the very awe-inspiring thing right here with us as well. Welcome, Susan.
Well, hello. And look at this beautiful, beautiful waterway right in front of us here in Victoria. It's just fabulous.
But of course, you have a very different relationship to this waterway than I do.
And I still do. In 2017, I swam from United States to Canada, so just outside of Port Angeles, and I landed not too far from here, just over by the pub, and I had a beer right after. It was great.
How far is that?
The route was about 33 kilometers.
33 kilometers. And how long were you underway?
I was underway for 10 hours and 6 minutes.
That is 10 hours and 3 minutes longer than I feel like I was lost in there.
Yeah, it was a beautiful swim. It was 11 to 13 degrees, no wetsuit, so a traditional swim. And I had an amazing crew of people with me that really are the reason that I made it across. I couldn't have done it without them.
So what motivated you to do that?
A little bit of craziness, but really what it was is I am a person living with multiple sclerosis, and the MS Society of Canada had closed the only center we had in the country where you could go and get help. You can get treatment, you could do art classes, and I just was really angry, to be honest, and I wanted to do something to lift up the community that I belong to. I wanted to inspire them and show them that, you know what, I care enough so much about you that I'm going to swim across this body of water and raise some money to open up a center, a new center.
Well, I just want to say at this moment, I often come specifically right here when I'm doing my tour guide work, and I specifically talk about you and what you did right
so
here.
Nice.
So you are definitely one of my local heroes.
Well, thank you. That's so nice. I hope you talk about Marilyn Bell too.
We do.
That's
yes.
fantastic.
Now that we've mentioned her, we should also mention who she is.
Yeah, well, she was the first woman to swim across the Strait of Juan de Fuca. And she did it, I believe, in the 50s, and she held the world record for the fastest crossing. She also called me when she found out I was going to swim and shared her stories and her knowledge. And the day after I landed, she congratulated me.
So you're already quite an inspiring person, but we also have another inspiring person right here on this pedicab, Marc, aka Blind Marc from the Dayglows. Hi there.
Hey.
The reason I have you here on this pedicab today actually comes down to the last episode we filmed where I met your bandmate from the Dayglows, Murray.
Yep.
Now, Murray could not stop going on about how amazing you are. He kept talking about how you're like the least disabled member of the band. I think that's the phrasing he had.
He gave me an opportunity to be in his band 25 years ago.
25 years ago, holy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because their original drummer, Bonehead, Jesus Bonehead, he basically couldn't get across the border, and they had a tour lined up down in the States. So they called me up. Murray basically was like, okay, I got some good news. You're in the Dayglows. Bad news is we got our first show tomorrow in Seattle, and we got 35 shows and down the West Coast. So basically we just left the next day. I think we practiced once, and then full-time drummer since, I guess, the fall of 2010.
But you're not just a drummer, you're also like a lead vocalist in your own band. You're wearing the shirt for your band, the Isolated
Earthlings. A little bit of shameless self-promotion here, yeah. The Isolated Earthlings.
Yeah, and you play the guitar. So you
I play the guitar and vocals. Like it's basically like I write all the songs, and then I got buddies of mine that help me play them live. Basically like 2019, 2020, I guess, when COVID kind of hit, everyone we all went into lockdown, and, we weren't basically allowed to play any gigs for about a year and a half. So I got myself a computer and some recording gear, and then just wrote a bunch of new songs and recorded them, all the demos in my living room. And I was like, well, what am I going to call this? And then I just kind of figured, because of COVID, we're all in isolation. Yeah. So if this one's going to be the Isolated Earthlings. I got it out on my Bandcamp page, and then I got it pressed onto vinyl.
Now, how long have you been unsighted? I mean, have you been always unsighted when you were a musician?
Yeah, well, like I was born legally blind, so I had a bit more vision when I was a kid. It was mainly like I guess you'd call it like tunnel vision. It was I didn't really have any peripheral. What I could see at 20 feet, sighted people could see at 300 feet. So I could see good enough to like read large print or like watch the TV if I stuck my nose right up to the TV. And I could see, I could ride my skateboard down the street, but I could never see good enough to, catch a football or play road hockey or anything like that,
That said, I'm just going to put this out there. I am sighted, and every time I have attempted to skateboard, I have seriously hurt myself. So you seem to have really rolled with being unsighted, and maybe even made it a superpower.
I was an awkward, shy, blind kid at school. I couldn't play team sports. Riding a skateboard, that was something I could do, I used to love bombing hills and stuff like that. And then that was probably when I was 9 when I started skateboarding. I just turned 49, so 40 years now. So I had a bit of vision when I was a kid, but that kind of faded away on me in my 20s. So now it's basically just light perception. I can't really. So skateboarding down the road nowadays is that's not really an option nowadays.
That's not a thing you would be doing now.
Yeah. So like the last 20 years, pretty much all I do is like I skate half pipes or bowls, And it's like a hamster wheel. You drop in, you go to the other side, come back down kind of thing,
Yeah.
You don't got to be worried about getting hit by a truck or something like that,
No. Well, something Murray was saying to me, you essentially are the most organized person in the band because you kind of have to be.
Ever since I was a kid, I've always had a good memory, like not just a good memory, but good at memorizing things,
As you would have to.
Especially like when I was a kid, I was definitely a lot better at memorizing phone numbers back then until I got a cell phone about 10 years ago, and now I can't remember even my own phone number. But like, especially something like if we're driving down the street, I kind of memorize, okay, the bus is taking a left, okay, I must be turning down Douglas Street or something, So when you ask the bus driver to let you off at the right bus stop, he's not always going to remember, so you kind of got to figure that out on your own and remember like where you're supposed to get off the bus, or you're going to end up like 10 blocks out of the way or something like that,
What about as a musician? I mean, just like, would you say your process as a drummer is different than somebody who always had the vision to rely on, let's say?
Yeah, I mean, when I set up the drums and before we play, I just kind of mess around, do a bit of a, I guess you'd call it like a little drum solo, just to make sure I'm hitting everything in the right proper positions and all that, you know?
Right.
And then I got to make sure when we're playing live, I just got to make sure that I get lots of the vocals in the monitor there so I can hear them talking about what the next song's going to be and that kind of thing. And obviously there's not a whole lot of eye contact and visual cues going on when we're playing live, you know?
Yeah, well, when I've been on stage, sometimes I've actually been overwhelmed by the things that are just happening in front and around me. Like sometimes the stage lights are just so bright, you know what I mean? Or,
Yeah.
you know, you're seeing something happening on stage. Maybe your attention's on, not that I've had to deal with this much, but like your attention's on the mosh pit, your attention's on this or that. And so I think maybe for you, I could imagine that you are also kind of able to be really...
Well, able to get more into the zone because I'm not being distracted.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's true for sure. I totally hear that. And plus also, like when I'm behind the drums, like I'm kind of like locked into my own little zone waiting to start the next song kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, now you've always been in bands with your buddies, so maybe you haven't had to encounter this so much, but is there an aspect where you kind of felt like you had to challenge people's preconceived notions to be able to be like a touring musician going around the world doing all of this stuff?
Yeah, I guess just because, yeah, I mean, kind of one of the side effects of being blind is people kind of just assume you're a feeble, weak, useless weakling that can't tie their own shoes, you know, so you kind of just got to roll with it and just not let it bother you and just keep doing what you're doing. I guess, you know, my track record kind of speaks for itself, you know. And like I said, if someone has a problem with it or they get kind of freaked out by it, then it's kind of, you know, it's kind of on them because I'm just doing what I'm doing, so.
By this point, you definitely would have like challenged all the haters, so to speak, right?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, they're not really haters. Most people are they're good people. They just haven't been around blind people, or they haven't been around, so people just kind of get awkward and they try to like overcorrect or try to be more helpful than they need to be. And you know, I mean, even just in general in life, like when I'm walking down the street and I stop at an intersection or something like that, and like some helpful good Samaritan wants to help me cross the road, I usually just let them, even if I know what I'm doing, because it makes them feel good about themselves, makes them, you know, and then maybe they'll help the next blind person that actually does need help, you know.
That's
so,
right.
So you know, when people try to like be overly helpful or whatever, I don't get offended by it because I know it comes from a good place for the most part, you know?
Right. In our society, like we think in terms of like, oh, well, these people who are less abled than us. But I think like one thing that you and Susan can both actually really show is that it's not about, I mean, sure, it's being less abled in certain ways, but you make up for it by being more abled in other ways. You are more precise in your thinking.
Well, that's kind of that's actually one of my new songs, Isolated Earthing songs that I wrote called Know Your Limitations. And it's kind of just a joke about basically me becoming an airline pilot and then landing a plane at the train station and then becoming a bus driver and driving the bus off a cliff. And the other way, you can't be like, I'm blind, I can do anything. It's like, you know, you got to know your limitations. I can't fly an airplane or drive a bus, but that doesn't mean you can't do anything, you know?
Well, I mean, again, I can't skateboard, whereas you could.
Yeah.
What about swimming, Marc? Have you done any swimming?
Swimming?
Swimming, yeah.
Actually, yeah, like, I'm not like her. I haven't swam across the freaking ocean or nothing like that, but
Not yet.
Not yet, but I definitely especially in the summertime, I love going swimming in the lakes and the rivers, and you know, I used to love doing like swimming lanes at the pool, but because it's good exercise, you know. But I just can't do the chlorine anymore. It just burns my eyeballs.
Right. So ocean would be better for you. Did I mention that I know somebody who's actually really good about ocean swimming?
Yeah. She's sitting beside me there. Yeah.
I would love to hear that after this, you guys ended up doing like a swim together.
I think it'd be great if you could come swim with me and the Spirit Orcas.
Sure. Oh, she'd be like lapping me. I'd be like, slow down there, come on.
So when you're in the water, I've done night swimming where it's pitch black and I can't see anything.
Yeah.
And what I do is I use the sound of the shore and the shoreline waves to help me know where I am.
Yeah.
How do you know where you are?
I guess, yeah, you kind of just listen to where the shoreline is so you're not going the opposite way and getting way out in the middle of the lake and then, getting too tired to actually swim back
Swim
to
back.
shore, you know.
Yeah.
I never really thought about it, but yeah, I guess that's kind of what I do for sure.
Probably subconscious. at
Yeah,
this
yeah,
point.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah. I have two people that swim with spirit orcas that are blind, and
Holy spirit, or like whales?
no. They're a group of swimmers with what
Oh, okay.
what people call disabilities, but two of them are blind, and one of them she's very afraid to go out into the water without me, and it would be great to start teaching her ways to know how to figure out to get back using her hearing a little bit more.
Yeah, unfortunately, just from playing the drums since I was 11 and not wearing earplugs till I was about 35, my ears aren't really as good as they used to be. But if it's like life or death situation, I think I'd probably like tap into those primal, instincts or whatever. And
Well, I can also imagine that, like, okay, your hearing isn't as good as it once was because being a drummer in a legendary punk band, fair enough, right? But I do still think there's also like learning how to use your sense of hearing.
yeah, no, exactly.
When I worked in Austria as a journalist, one of my favorite features I ever did is I went to a space conference and I met a bunch of unsighted astronomers who in some respects, just like the data that they were able to find of like supernovas and things like this,
Wow.
Yeah.
they would, instead of visualizing it, they would actually listen for the data. They would have systems that would translate the data into sound, and they were actually much more efficient at processing
Cool.
the data and analyzing it than their sighted colleagues. And for me, that's just like such a great example
Yeah, that's
of how
pretty cool.
like not disabled you are just by being differently abled. It's like a mixing board, you turn the gain down on one thing, you turn
Yeah.
this up on over there, and it's just a different system.
Well, if you think of it, everybody has a disability then, right? Everybody's got something they're really good at. We all have to figure out ways of doing things that we're not good at, and we all probably have limitations.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
whether you have a disability or not, you're still working within that paradigm.
Yeah.
And that's like where I like to be, is that we're all the same. It's just people have chosen to call these things disabilities
Yeah.
because they're not sure how to, like you said, when people come to you, they're not sure, it's awkward, they don't know what to say, they don't know
Yeah.
what to do.
Now speaking of disabilities, our secondary pedicab at the moment seems to be dealing with a little bit of a disability. So, okay, where were we?
Well, just the way that people think about disabilities. I mean, the world was built for the standard version. We're the extraordinary.
We're like the X-Men.
Because we have
We don't take things for granted. We just play the cards you're dealt and you get through life,
Yeah,
Don't sweat the small things and
yeah, and we find ways to do whatever it is that we've got to do or we want to do.
Well, I mean, the other thing is, also if you're neurodiverse, so I'm ADHD and OCD, right? So, I've also had to learn coping mechanisms so that I don't end up falling victim to certain compulsions. So, for example, and I think I probably have this in common with Murray, to go back to your bandmate, we're both kind of scattered in our brains, or we can focus very much in certain ways, but in other ways not so much.
yeah.
Right? And,
Yeah.
and so as a compensation thing, that I actually really leaned into obsessive compulsive disorder, which comes with its own things too, like leaving the house and checking the front door.
Oh, I
like,
probably got a bit of that too. I'm always doing that.
I bet you do.
Triple checking the door and making sure the garage door is closed.
And that also probably comes, that is an effect of also the things that you don't have.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, like you can just look and see, oh no, the door is closed, but I'm like, no, you got to check the thing 12 times to see it, make sure it's locked.
Yeah. But I also just think that like a lot of the times, like somebody who is autistic, let's say, might just be considered like strange for the way that their brain works. But like historically in very different hunter-gatherer societies, the way that their brain worked might not have been seen as any sort of detrimental thing at all, right?
Well, that's interesting because it means before we would work with people to our advantage. Now we see people who are different as being a disadvantage. And it would be nice if we could change that around and see the advantages of these things.
It kind of almost makes me feel like society itself is what's disabled.
Well,
It's not the people.
I like the social model of disability is, I'm not disabled, you've disabled me.
Right.
By building the world that you've built it, or the Spirit Orcas, they've been disabled by the way the world is built. And we need to learn to build a world that's for everyone, not just for the easiest to serve people or a set group of people.
Another thing that I find is where most disabled people that I know, and I've been part of the CNIB since I was a kid, so I've met people over the years with all kinds of physical disabilities, and you know what? I'm probably generalizing a bit, but for the most part, they're the happiest people I know because they're just living their life, playing the cards they're dealt, where it's just I find a lot of people that have everything, I don't know if I'm really explaining it properly, but it's kind of like,
I'm picking
just
up
be
what you're laying down.
grateful for what you got, and just.
Yeah. Well, I call it a victim's mentality.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, but I didn't want to be politically incorrect and get kicked off the freaking cab. So, okay,
you're
she
gonna
said
let me
it.
get
She said it for me.
Hooray! I'm liking this.
Nice one, Mark.
Awesome. When I was first diagnosed with MS, my doctor said, stay home, don't exercise, don't change your diet, don't. Just stay home. And it created this victim mentality. I'm a victim of my disease. 10 years into it, I was like, this is not going to end well for me if I don't change something. And that was when I started swimming. Yeah. And that's the Spirit Orcas. Like this, 2 weeks ago, they swam around Pender Island in 12-degree water.
Yeah, that's
and
crazy.
It is crazy.
It's
They're
still
best
pretty damn
selves,
cool.
right? Like they're just getting out there and just doing all of these really amazing things. And I think that's what we all need to do is embrace that.
Yeah,
Whether we
no,
have
for
what
sure.
society calls a disability or not.
Well, I also think, and I think this is something really great about what you're doing with the Spirit Orcas is like, I think once you have had some experience, like being successful despite the challenges, even because of the challenges, and look at you now. It's like this also alters your own perception of yourself. I would call it a privilege to have the experience of obstacles, challenges that you have the opportunity to overcome, because psychologically the impact that has can be really quite profound.
I agree. I mean, I think MS has made me stronger, more resilient. Not that I want anyone to have MS, because it can be a very cruel disease, but the way that I've lived it is I've just said, no, I'm going to do all these things that I was told not to do and keep getting stronger and be happy doing them. And I've had so many incredible adventures. Like Juan de Fuca was just one of them.
Oh, man.
I swam in so many other places too that people haven't gone before. So yeah, and I just keep mentally getting stronger and stronger.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I don't know if you found that traveling when you're blind. I'm sure it can be unsettling at times, but the more you do it, the more resilient you become.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like I went over to Europe with the Dayglows in 2012, and I was just kind of thinking, what's it gonna be like going to Europe, like being blind? It's like I'm not gonna be able to look at all the ancient castles and check out all the architecture and all that, but you get there and I'm like, the birds are chirping differently and the sirens are different, so it's like all the audio sounds, it's all different. Yeah, and it was really cool,
Well, we're at the Crystal Pool now. That's our next stop, and I think that's your last stop for today, Mark.
Yeah, you betcha.
Hey guys.
Hey.
Why don't you come on up and meet my friends?
Hello. Nice to meet you.
This is Marc.
I'm Mark, nice to meet you.
Marc, this is Malia.
Hey, Malia, nice to meet you.
And Maria.
And Maria, nice to meet you. Malia,
And
Maria.
Dixon.
Dixon.
And Noel.
Oh, well, awesome.
And they're Spirit Orcas. I was telling Marc how you use your phone to read groceries when you go to the grocery store.
Yeah.
He uses stuff like that too sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I use the voiceover on my phone. It talks to me and reads out all my text messages and emails and all that. Is this where you guys swim?
It's where we swim, yeah.
We swim here on Mondays and Fridays.
They practice here year-round.
Yeah.
It's a master's swim club for people with disabilities, and we happily allow people without disabilities in our club. We don't have a problem with people that don't have disabilities. They're okay. We don't mind.
No.
Yeah, it's fine. But they're going to rebuild it, so it'll be closed for 5 years. not going to have a pool. We'll have nowhere
Not
to
happy.
swim. It's
Yeah.
very sad. We're not sure where we're going to go.
It's close before I feel upset because this is my home, this is my heart.
Yeah.
Right here.
Maria, how long have you been swimming here? Do you remember?
Quite a few years.
Like over 15, 20?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So you started with Special
It
O.
was Special Olympics and then
Yeah. And Dixon, you're the same, eh? Did you start with Special O?
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Noelle?
Yeah, I was 12 when I first started.
You first started swimming at 12. Wow. And may I ask how old you are now?
37.
Oh,
Wow, that's
okay.
a long
So it's
time.
been a long time then. How do you guys feel about it closing?
Upset.
not happy.
Not happy.
No.
They're running out of places for different swim groups to find pool space to use.
Yeah.
Because especially up at UVic, they closed their pool and they're just
Yeah,
thinking, oh
McKinnon.
great, where are we going to put all these different clubs?
So McKinnon closed and they brought all their swimmers between here and Commonwealth and Oak Bay. So they were way overcrowded, and then you just think the loss of this a double pool.
I'm sorry to say that this plays into like a recurring theme in Victoriage, where we often go to venues and we're like, yeah, so this closed or this is about to close, and there is not something kind of replacing that.
If you look at things like Crystal Pool and all of these arts programs and things like that, these are part of what build a strong, healthy community. We can't expect kids to grow up without places to go. We don't want them sitting at home all day on their tablets and things like that. We want them to be able to get out into the environment, into the pool, go to theaters and things like that. It's a much richer life. So we see them using the pool and they're living healthier lives because of it. Also, they have community, they're connected to people, which is really important. We don't want to live in isolation. People need one another in communities, and Crystal Pool is an incredible community. The staff here are amazing. They're so fabulous to all of us. Like Malia gets help at the pool when she needs it. All of these guys do.
We all do.
If something is happening, they let me know. They so that we can work through it. It's not built for people with physical disabilities, but they figured out ways to work around it. We started up a Masters swim club. We were traditionally open water. Now we have Masters Club, and this is Canada's first accessible Masters swim club. And they swim in Masters swim meets. They did their first provincials this year, so they're swimming outside of Special Olympics. They're swimming with everybody else, right?
Yeah.
Because we are just everybody else. So Dixon, did you want to say anything about the Spirit Orcas? What it's like for you being part of this club?
What it means to me in my heart. We're like family.
Nice to meet all you guys. Nice to meet you, Susan. And here's some stickers for you guys. That's my band, the Isolated Earthlings. And then here I got a bag of records for you, Johnny.
Oh, thank you.
So that's some advertising for the best record store in Victoria, Turntable out in Fantan Alley. So maybe we can just pull these records out.
Yeah,
Might
let's
as
do
well
it.
do some shameless self-promotion.
Shameless self-promotion.
So that's the first record, and check out the back cover. We got the band photo with the Bob and Doug statue in Edmonton.
Yep.
And then there's another one there at the split with our buddy from up in Kelowna, Mr. Awesome.
Well, I'm looking forward to listening to these.
Yeah, definitely.
Marc, you've been amazing.
Yeah,
Thank you
awesome,
so much
Johnny.
for
Yeah,
joining
thanks
us.
for letting me participate and all
Absolutely.
that. And
Yeah, and I'll see you in the ocean.
yeah, you betcha.
All right, there's Noelle. See you later.
Hello.
Bye, Noelle. It was nice meeting you.
Goodbye, Crystal Pool.
That was it for. Love you.
Yeah, we do love our Crystal Pool. It's really been very good to us.
So, just to kind of clarify, how long have Spirit Orcas existed? Like, what was sort of the
The impetus.
the
for it?
impetus for it? Exactly.
I think they've been around for about 6 years. What happened was I, at the time, was coaching Special Olympics, and one of the swimmers was wanting to swim in the open water.
Right.
She saw me on TV and she thought, oh, that's really cool what you're doing.
Yeah.
So I started with one of them, and then there were a bunch more that wanted to swim in the open water. They're like, oh, we want to try it too. And I think they thought they were going to get on TV is what it was for some of them. But they ended up trying it and they loved it. Initially we were going to swim a relay across the English Channel. But we decided not to. We really wanted to focus on our local waterways.
Right.
We thought it more important that we share our message here. And the message being that people with disabilities can do stuff too. Don't discount us before we even get to the table, which is often what happens. We're not even thought of at the very beginning. So it started with that, and a few years later you joined, Malia?
Yep.
We invited you. We give special invitation to people that we think are good for the group. Since then, we've also gained Noelle. Anybody else that we have? Lisa.
Lisa Newell.
Lisa Newell, and you coached Lisa.
I coached her do swimming.
Yeah, you were teaching Lisa how to swim,
Oh, wow.
and she coached her to, was it a 5-kilometer swim at TELUS?
Yes.
That's what she did.
That's right.
So Malia was her swim coach for that. I had at one point a coaching program where they were all coaching as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we hope to do that too, because they're such good swimmers. They have great skills, and they'd like to pass them on.
And you're actually a record-breaking athlete, Malia.
Yes, I am.
So you've done things that no other person has done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do my 5K swim 4 hours, not stop.
That was at Thetis Lake.
In this lake, and I stop and eat, and I keep going.
And then after that, you did a 10-kilometer
10K
swim.
swim at that bay.
There are no other people that we know of with Down syndrome that have done anything like this. Hey, Malia?
Yep, that's right. And then I did my 12K swim and I can't make it yet because that lake temperature is too hot.
It was too hot. We had to stop part way.
I did 5.5.
Yeah. But you swam in the Great Bear Rainforest,
Yep, Maple Forest,
Pender Island,
Dutton Island.
north and south.
Yep.
And do you have the feeling that like all of these swimming that you've done and breaking records and all of this,
Yes.
has this also altered your kind of perception of yourself as a person who can accomplish things and do things and just your own sense of self-value?
So, Malia, when you started in Special O, what were you like?
Like,
You sit on the side of the deck,
went down on the deck and I was chatting with people.
never really swam.
And now,
Now she owns the lake.
Now you own the lake. Now it's yours.
Ocean Lake Airport is my home.
Do you feel more confident in yourself?
Yes.
You also live outside your parents' house now.
Yes, that's right. I live home saying that was now.
When I first met you, you used to say, I'm a cute little baby or a cute little kid, and now what do you say?
I'm not kid and not child.
You're
I'm a
strong,
smart woman.
yeah, a strong woman athlete.
And healthy.
When you have a disability, I found with MS that I wasn't invited places because of it, or they would assume, for example, I couldn't swim 200 fly or things like that. And I knew for people with intellectual disabilities, I think it was probably even worse.
Yeah.
That they were just not invited to the table, never asked, would you like to do this? What are your goals? What are your dreams? And I kind of wanted to flip that on its head and create opportunities where with Spirit Orcas, we stand beside them and help them achieve their goals. They decide what they want to do.
Right.
So they decided they wanted to swim Pender Island, and we just stood beside you, or swam beside you.
Yep.
In
I
your
love that.
case.
And make you do it.
Yeah, and make sure that everything is okay as they're doing it, and they have the support that they need. And actually, Malia's done a lot more than most people without disabilities. I don't know a lot of people that have done a 10K swim.
Yeah, I have disability, I have Down syndrome, and I'm blind. I can't see well sometimes.
Yeah, but you still get out there and swim.
Yeah.
Do you see whales?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet,
I hope.
but eventually. I think you did, didn't you, Susan?
I've had whales on my swim.
Hatback and orca, right, Susan?
Yeah, I actually had orcas in Juan de Fuca.
And seal.
And I've had sea lions too.
Can you paint me a picture of what that's like?
Well, on the first time it happened to me, the whale was actually under me. I didn't see it, I felt it.
Yeah.
And I knew it wasn't boat wake, and I was terrified. So I just told myself, you got to stay in the water and keep swimming. Because if you get out now, you're never going to get back in again. You're going to be afraid for the rest of your life.
Right, yeah.
And then after that, it's just part of where I am. I just swim and they're there, and I trust that they're not there to hurt me. I don't think I taste very good.
Yeah.
So Yeah, and
It'd be a bit
it's
chewy.
more of, it's just, I feel privileged to be able to swim in their environment.
Now, I know that sometimes you have had to abandon a swim on
Yeah.
occasion. As much as I would like to keep going, this is a limitation that I don't want to cross.
Yeah, so I've had it happen on 3 swims. The first one was a 105-kilometer attempt.
Right?
And I was sick all night long. It just wasn't working, and I knew I was damaging my body. And if I went further, I don't know what would have happened. So I chose to exit, and I was completely fine with it.
Live to swim another day.
Live to swim another day, and the whole reason for swimming is to be healthy. So why would I want to push myself to the point of being unhealthy? I've been hypothermic. I attempted a double cross of Juan de Fuca and lasted 7.5 hours in 9-degree water.
Cowichan, too.
You had to cut out Lake Cowichan because it was too hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm at peace with me exiting a swim. I don't want my crew to have to pull me out of the water half dead. I don't
No.
think that's smart. I know some people will push beyond. I'm not one of them. You know, I think it sets a bad example. So if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. In the meantime, I was thinking we should get Johnny in the cold water, but he's
Yes,
not biting.
please.
Yeah. Hey, I didn't say no. I might regret it when I'm doing it. But to be perfectly honest, Susan, I mean, part of also why I approached you was because multiple sclerosis is something that I've carried with me my whole life without actually having it, because my grandmother and my father both had to live with this condition. And so because we knew it was a genetic thing, it's something that I'm acutely aware of, and I've been watching for signs of it my whole life. And if God forbid it ever would happen, it is nice to have role models existing in the world who are doing all of these amazing things.
Thank you, that's very kind of you. And I believe that no matter what you're confronted with in your life, Johnny, you're going to be a spectacular person. So,
Oh, thank you.
you know, you're all good here. But yeah, like some people have it a lot harder with MS, and I recognize that. I feel it's my duty to help them. And that was part of that swim across Juan de Fuca and keeping the MS Wellness Center going. I do have problems. You know, I lose my balance a lot, things like that, or I have to monitor my training. I can't train like everyone else.
Yeah.
But, you know, whatever I can do to help others that have the diagnosis, I'm going to do it. The biggest thing is I don't ever want anybody to be alone with that diagnosis. Because it's scary.
And I think, like, historically, it certainly was looked at as very much of a death sentence.
Absolutely. Well, the other thing is I think because our society, our medical establishment is so risk averse, as soon as they find out you have something, it's all of a sudden your life ends. When you go into doctors or hospitals, everybody tells you what you can't do or what you shouldn't do. And it's all of these things that prevent you from living a life.
Yeah.
People with intellectual disabilities, or what we call intellectual disabilities, people just see them as being less than, and they're not less than. They're completely capable of living incredible lives.
Yeah.
Leah, you live in a home share, so
Yeah.
you have a roommate.
That's right.
You're very independent. You go everywhere by yourself
Sometimes, not all the time.
most of the time. And you not only are you somebody with Down syndrome, but you're also legally blind.
Yeah.
And you're doing all of these amazing things. And
I've seen some of your YouTube videos with the recipes.
oh, her cooking show.
Yeah, your cooking show.
Yeah, we have a little cooking show going for her. She's going to put out a cookbook too. And that's part of this spirit of Spirit Orcas, is to show that there's capability there. And we're not here to die, we're here to live.
Now, you chose swimming because that's also good with multiple sclerosis. I saw them.
Well, yeah, I chose swimming because it was a way to exercise and stay cool. And for myself, if I overheat, it'll cause an MS attack, and many different things could happen with that. I could go blind, I could be paralyzed, the list goes on and on. So it was a way to get fit and healthy without having to have that worry to the degree that I would if I was running. And then the other reason was I was a swimmer as a child. I swam up to the age of 15.
Did doctors ever say anything about swimming when you were like first diagnosed?
When I was first diagnosed, I was told not to exercise. Be really careful what you do. And that's what I did for 10 years, and I just got sicker and sicker.
Right.
And then I went, well, that's not right. I'm going to try and change this. And I started swimming. My most recent neurologist, when I say, how do you feel about me doing this? He goes, well, you're going to do it anyway, so just stay safe when you do it. And he encourages it. He's like, you're living a good life.
This is also right here.
Yeah, you swam here.
Yes,
Did you? I'd be a little terrified with all these waves and the wind and the...
I love waves.
You do?
We do love swimming in the waves. It's pretty fun.
Waves come up.
And they push you.
They push me
Make
forward.
you super fast. If you're going the right way. Malia, there's a great big kelp bed over there.
Oh no.
And that's where we landed for leg 7 or 6 of the Great Big
They're
Swim.
freaking me out all the time.
Do you remember what was the Great Big Swim?
Look at this money for COVID.
We raised money for COVID relief. How did we do that?
We started to swim to there and then to the corner.
All the way around, eh? We started at Brentwood Bay and we swam to Colwood. 80 kilometers in 7 weeks.
Yep, that's right.
So this was the leg 7 when people realized that we were going to make it. The first few legs that we did, people were like, yeah, nah.
Well, this is aspirational.
Yeah. But then they're like, wow, they're really doing it. And we started amassing a bunch of followers. And
this is the final leg of it?
this was the final leg. And what we did was we landed on that side 1 week and we started here the next because I didn't want them going through the currents.
Sometimes the currents can like force you to change your approach. I think even with your Juan de Fuca trip, right?
Well, I was training down that way one day and I got turned around pretty quickly. And I ended up on the other side of Clover Point within seconds. My crew couldn't even keep up to me. It happened so fast.
Right.
So that's how powerful they are there.
Wee!
Whee! Let's do some donuts! Clover Point donuts! So we've arrived at our next destination, Clover Point, or should I say Kelper Point. I may have been clued in on a little bit of what we're doing here. Okay, well, follow me.
So let's show Johnny where we landed.
All right.
This was leg 6 of the Great Big Swim.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we landed here. We came all the way around. And Malia, what is out there?
Type.
There's kelp.
Right.
So do you want to tell Johnny what happened when you swam into the kelp?
Freaking me out.
It freaked you
And I
out.
started crying and in the bathroom I couldn't hold it.
Oh no. Oh no.
And you were screaming.
Yep.
But then we got together, Malia and I talked about it. I came over, and what is this special about seaweed for us?
Like sushi.
Sushi,
Yeah.
which Malia and I like to go out for sushi, so we pretended we were in a big sushi restaurant, and then we were able to get to the shore.
Just swimming around it.
Around it. But it's the underwater forest, so, and that's where the seals like to go.
Oh yeah, I see you swimming beside me all the time.
Okay, so you're a seal whisperer.
Yep. I'm like, oi, 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 oi.
Or maybe not a whisper.
Yeah,
Not
seal
yet.
setter.
Shoot.
Yeah.
So they started at Brentwood Bay, and they did about 10 to 12 kilometers a week.
Wild.
Over 7 weeks, and finally made it to
it raised
Colwood.
money.
Yeah, they raised around $7,000 for COVID relief, which was a really nice achievement. It all started, there's another spirit orca named Ben,
Yeah.
and he just announced to me one day, hey, I'm going to swim from Mill Bay to Brentwood Bay. And I'm like, really? Do you have a crew? And he's like, nah, I'm just going to do it.
Right.
And I said to him, well, what if we change it up and do this instead? And we got all of the spirit orcas involved and turned it into the Great Big Swim. And just, again, amazing. The water at times was 10 degrees. They're in no wetsuits and
Cap with goggles, no wetsuit.
just your cap and goggles and swimsuit,
Yeah.
eh?
Yeah.
Have you ever forgot to bring your swimsuit to a swim?
Oh yes.
Yes.
I thought about my swimsuit. I was like, oop.
That's not so good.
Well, thank you so much for joining on this. This has been so much fun.
I loved it.
Yeah. All right, everybody, group hug. Okay, who's squeezing my man boobs?
warm.
One, two, three, go!
You're not dying. You're not.
One, two, three.
Okay, Marc had way more style than either of you.
Marco!
Polo! Woohoo!